he likes to check in on everybody. And then this is his. So then we are live everywhere on Zaleski Sports. Good deal. I just don't like this. So in Clover, we're just kind of myself. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. See if when I'm talking, there's that buzzing. 1, 2, 3, 4. The buzzing is still there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably no noise though either. Nothing on here. Folks, we do have a 50-50 raffle benefiting the soccer team today. See the gentleman in the yellow tickets around his neck if you are looking for that. Still buzzing. The buzz or me? Yeah. Yeah, just trying to figure out this buzz here. Yeah, it's still on there. 1, 2, 3. We got volume, so we're still buzzing. Still buzzing? All right. Let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3. Oh, now what we do here. Huh?
Echoing now. Wanna listen? Like echoing. Yeah. You're echoing.
Say something.
Hello?
Oh, it's because we're run up the middle for Nekoosa. Nice stop by some of the Panthers defense. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now there's nothing coming out here.
Wait, now it's going.
A little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're good.
Touchdown on the keeper for Nekoosa.
There you go. Let's try it now. Testing audio 1, 2. Testing audio here at Nekoosa Senior High School for today's football scrimmage between Nekoosa, Pittsville, and Westfield here this afternoon. What we might have to do here. It's a little better now. A little better. Good. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. Good, good, good. All right. JV game here for game number 1 of the. You good, Hannah? You good audio? Good. All right. Game 1 of the scrimmage. It is JV here in game 1. All right, good afternoon and welcome to Nekoosa Senior High for this afternoon's varsity football scrimmage. It is Pittsville and Nekoosa here in the first varsity game of the match or of the afternoon. We had JV Pittsville and Nekoosa just happen moments ago, but today we will have the Pittsville Panthers and the Nekoosa Papermakers here from beautiful Nekoosa Senior High on this brand new turf football field just outside of the high school. They got a couple of softball fields going in as well. So it should be a doozy here this afternoon. Again, a picturesque Friday afternoon. Hopefully have the same weather next week for week 1 of the high school football season. And we're about to get underway here this afternoon from Pittsville. Again, Nekoosa will be the offensive team. They've got 25 offensive plays from the 40-yard line. Then they will have 5 from the 3-yard line, and the same for Pittsville as well. The first one is punched out to the near side, rumbling and tumbling near the 25-yard line, and a first down for Nekoosa. Nicely done for the Papermakers on their first drive and first play of the afternoon. Again, we don't know players. We don't know positions for those players. Everybody is in practice uniforms here this afternoon from Nekoosa. Again, just absolutely gorgeous afternoon from the Nekoosa Sports Complex. Brand new, pitched out to the far side. Nekoosa, there's Pittsville with a nice play. A flag comes in, but Nekoosa making their second season, are going to be in their second season of the Central Wisconsin Conference in with teams as in Amherst, Stratford, Wittenberg, Spencer Columbus, and the likes of those teams. Again, this year they fared just all right last year against the new competition that they were introduced to. Westfield, a team that was in their previous conference, looking to build on what they did a year ago, is Nekoosa, as there's a penalty on the play, and that will punch them back to about the 35-yard line or so, 34. But, again, new field, new hopes here for the Papermakers in 2021. Scrimmage day around the state of Wisconsin today. We had a handful of scrimmages on the Zaleski Sports Network earlier today out in Appleton, in Stanley. Where else were we? Eau Claire. Have one in Amherst going on. And so, and DC Everest, that was the other one, over in Schofield. We have this one going on here. We have one in Amherst as well, as the Falcons are taking on Winneconne in that scrimmage. Teams that we're going to be covering, Assumption. They have a scrimmage in Randolph, as that one was sniffed out perfectly by the Pittsville defense. And a long third down coming up for Nekoosa. Week 1 in full force, 6 days from tonight. 6 nights from tonight. We will have Pittsville at Augusta, and then we will have Spencer Columbus hosting Glenwood City in Spencer. We will have exclusive broadcasts of Spencer Columbus, of Amherst, of Assumption, Stratford, Marshfield, as that one's going to be rolled out to the right. Great job defensively by Pittsville. And that's a huge loss all the way back to the 38-yard line. We also have, as mentioned, Spencer Columbus. A couple of Edgar games sprinkled in there. A couple of Mosinee games as well. Greenwood we've got. 8-man football over there in Greenwood again this year. Again, we're spread out all around central and west central Wisconsin. Making our way a little bit east of I-39 as well, over in Amherst this fall. And this whole school year, got over 80 games on the football docket for you. That's a great pitch and a catch to the near side, inside the 20 to about the 15. And a great gain yardage. And it's gonna be close to a first down at the 15. That was a huge pickup if it was. And they're going to give them the first down. Wow, what a pickup for Nekoosa on that third down or fourth down at about a mile. The Papermakers were able to pick it up and get a 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line inside the red zone here in Nekoosa. But again, over 80 football broadcasts scheduled for you, as well as volleyball in there as well, swimming, soccer, all fall sports here for you on Zaleski Sports as an offsides, penalty called on Pittsville. Again, we will have a full slate for you. We'll have it all up on ZaleskiSports.com. We've got 8 games for you next week, and then a whole weekend of baseball for you over at Jack Hackman Field in Marshfield, the Wisconsin Baseball Association State Tournament taking place in Marshfield and Merrill this year. Play action, no, hand up the middle. Nicely done by Nekoosa and as well as Pittsville. We'll have a couple of Pittsville games as well, as mentioned, at Augusta next week. And they play Cadott a little later on as well in the season. And then, of course, because they're in a conference in the conference, the likes of Edgar and so forth. There's going to be pitched out to the far side, get the edge, cut back in, roll over a couple defenders, and Nekoosa into the end zone for a touchdown. So a couple nice drives put together by the Papermakers here this afternoon. As mentioned, trying to just build on being able to play on a field like this and be able to build on what they were able to do near the end of the year last year for the Papermakers. But again, as mentioned, we got 8 games next week for you, 2 on Thursday, 6 on Friday. A big one happening, about 20 minutes east of here over at Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln High School. The Red Raiders opening up that brand new field, brand new complex over there at Lincoln on Thursday, August 19th. They are hosting Muskego. Muskego, the number 1 team in Division I, best known of knocking off Kimberly a couple of years ago at the state tournament. Brand new football field down in Muskego as well, and just a gorgeous complex and one heck of a football team coming up and taking on Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln to open up that brand new stadium on Thursday, a week from yesterday. So if you have no plans next Thursday, head out to Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln and as they open up their brand new football field, as well as host one of the top teams, not just in the state, but in the Midwest as well. So should be a heck of a way to start the football season. Again, they started about a month late last year with everything going on, and we are more than happy to be with you here this fall as well on Zaleski Sports. Blitz is on, pressure is on, and the Nekoosa quarterback goes down at about the 24-yard line back to the line of scrimmage. He may have gained a half a yard or a yard at that. So a play that looked like a bad loss is back to his gain of about a half a yard for the Papermakers. So we'll have all Assumption games for you. Looking forward to that. That's going to be a fun season. Myself will be on the call for those games, except for a couple of the road ones, like at Pacelli, and due to the fact that Cale Jacoby will be on the call of that one, as Cale will be calling Pacelli football games, and a couple of other games as well for the Royals this fall. So looking forward to it. A lot of fun, a lot of games on the docket for you this year on Zaleski Sports. As mentioned, 80 football games, over 80 football games, and that's not including the playoffs quite yet. As go through an arm tackle does the quarterback for Nekoosa, and it's going to be close to a 1st and goal there at the 5, and it's 1st and goal for the Papermakers. So as mentioned, our amount of games this year, not just our fall season, but not really even breaking news, I guess, anymore at Zaleski Sports with the number of games that we're doing. But just the concept, the mindset of over 700 games this high school athletic season. We did 509 last year, and looking to do close to, if not over, 700 between now, I guess, and next June when the spring season state tournaments and the likes finish up next year. So it's going to be a fun year. Looking forward to it. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs, obviously, but it's going to be going to be a pleasure to bring you some more high school sports here on Zaleski Sports. And a phenomenal goal line stop right there for Pittsville. Kind of looked like a non-triple option. And a nice job by the Panthers as they bring in 4. They send 4 off as well. And appreciate everyone tuning in to our broadcast here this afternoon. Again, Scrimmage Day throughout the state of Wisconsin. We have this one going on here in Nekoosa at this brand new beautiful football field on the campus of Nekoosa High School as the Papermakers walk one into the end zone again. 3rd touchdown for the Papermakers here this afternoon. Yeah, Pittsville and Nekoosa here. They got Amherst and Winneconne over at Amherst as the Falcons just put in a new field a number of years ago as well. Amherst will be here in Nekoosa, what is that, mid-September, end of September. So that'll be a good matchup as well. Amherst has built quite the tradition the last 10 years or so. Coach Mark Lusick and Doug Spadoni and the likes over in Amherst. Should be a good battle in the Central Wisconsin Conference again, and Nekoosa hopes to be right there with them here in 2021. Fitting the mold, though. Getting a beautiful brand new football field, and the wheel route again perfectly done near sidelines. Through an arm tackle, tiptoes the sidelines, and again inside the 20-yard line, inside the 15 to the 11. Great job there for Nekoosa. Again, that wheel route has been there. This looked good as this offense is clicking for Nekoosa. Pittsville trying to rebuild as well. Mark Denniston and the Panthers. See what they can do here in 2021 as well. Under center for the Nekoosa quarterback to the near side, gets to the outside and breaks one tackle, falls inside the 5-yard line. And that is where Nekoosa will have it. And take a look here at the upcoming, or just take a look, I guess, at the Pittsville Panthers schedule here this fall. As mentioned, we'll have a couple of Pittsville games here in 2021, as well as a few volleyball games as well, as Nekoosa into the end zone for the 4th time here this afternoon. Again, tall, lanky, strong players here for Nekoosa this year. The height and the strength so far unmatched for Nekoosa. Take a look at Pittsville's schedule here. As mentioned, at Augusta on Thursday, August 19th. They will host Cadott on the 27th. They will be at Pacelli on the 2nd, on September 2nd. We'll have that game for you. They'll host Auburndale on September 10th. That game, again, they were supposed to play Allman Bancroft. Allman does not have an 11-man roster this year, so the Eagles back down to 8-man. They will have, that one's run right up the middle, nicely done, tripped up there. They will be at Rochelt on September 17th, they will be home, or they will be at Assumption on Thursday, September 23rd. So Pittsville will be at Assumption on September 23rd. They will finish off the year home against Loyal, at Wild Rose, and finishing off with a juggernaut in Iola Scandinavia. So that is Pittsville's schedule. We will have, as mentioned, a couple of those games for you. The Pacelli one, the Assumption one for sure, and the Augusta one to start off the season next week. Now it's going to be to the right side. Gets to the outside, breaks a tackle, and the 5th touchdown of the afternoon for Nekoosa. Papermakers taking advantage here of Pittsville, and Nekoosa, again, that tall, lanky, strong running back for the Papermakers is having himself an afternoon, and one to look out for if you're a Central Wisconsin football fan here in 2021. So they march back to the 40-yard line. Hannah and I will have the opportunity to see that beautiful brand new football field over in Wisconsin Rapids on the 27th of August, as Assumption will take on Auburndale in that ball game. That one is a high throw, caught at the 30-yard line, dragged out of bounds to the 29, and a first down upcoming again for Nekoosa. Football season is in full swing here in the United States, as obviously high school football starting up all over the country. NFL Hall of Fame game was last week. Had a couple of scrimmage, or a couple of preseason games. I guess you could call them scrimmages. People fighting for jobs, though, in the NFL. A couple of them last night. I think a couple of them again tonight. And a great read there by the nose tackle for Pittsville. The Packers play tomorrow in Green Bay against the Houston Texans. See what the hype is. See if it can live up to expectations for QB number 10, Jordan Love. See how things go tomorrow night in Lambeau. Obviously, the big story last night in the world of sports, and how cool was that? We'll get to that in a second. Back to pass, and another beautiful pitch and catch, and touchdown number 6 for Nekoosa here on the offensive realm, offensive side for the Papermakers. But how cool was that in Dryersville, Iowa last night? The first Major League Baseball game ever played in Iowa, on the site of the Field of Dreams, New York Yankees and the Chicago White Sox. Absolutely phenomenal. That was one of the coolest things that you will ever see. And if you have the opportunity to go to Dryersville, Iowa, had the opportunity about 4 years ago to go to the Field of Dreams. Probably much different now after everything that has happened. But to get to Dryersville, get to the Field of Dreams field, it was just a dirt road 4 years ago. Probably a little different now after they had 8,000 people at the game last night, and that was through the arms of the receiver and incomplete. But 8,000 people in a town of, goodness, probably about, what they say, 4,000, if that, in Dryersville, the home of the Field of Dreams. Kevin Costner there last night. Just an absolutely awesome thing to watch in Iowa, and a great thing for the state of Iowa last night. And Tim Anderson with the walk-off 2-run home run to knock off the almighty New York Yankees. So if you have a chance, Dryersville, Iowa, about 5 hours from here, if you have a chance to go to Dryersville, take the opportunity when you have the chance. It is a pretty cool site and a cool place to go is Dryersville. Yeah, I mean that's not that bad of a trip. 3.5 hours to go to Dryersville, Iowa from here. 185 miles. But again, if you get to Iowa, it's all cornfields anyways. So cornfields and pig farms. And 185 miles is not that bad to to go to Dryersville. So again, if you have a chance, if you have an opportunity, go to Dryersville, Iowa. That is a cool site, especially if you're a baseball fan. If you're not a baseball fan, if you're a movie fan, nonetheless, you can have the opportunity to go to Dryersville, Iowa. Go see the home of the Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner. Not the home of Kevin Costner, obviously, but the field that Kevin Costner put on the map, literally and figuratively, in beautiful Dryersville, Iowa. Maybe it's Dyersville. Is it Dyersville or Dryersville? Who knows? We'll look. Dyersville. That's what I thought it was. I kept saying Dryersville, but so back at the where are we? 3-yard line? Sure, why not? Right? We're having a good time here at beautiful Nekoosa Senior High. That one is up the middle, nicely stopped there by the interior of the Pittsville Panthers, as there's probably 1 or 2 plays left for this time, I guess, here in the first go-around for Nekoosa. They scored about 6 times, maybe? And, again, a offense that has looked very good so far here. Have the Nekoosa Papermakers. Rolling out to his left, and a sidearm throw into the end zone, and another one on the board for Nekoosa. As there's, well, it looks like they're going to run another one. So, oh, maybe not. So that will take us to our first break. 5-minute break between the start or the end of this one and the start of the next one. Hear from our friends. Hear from our friends over at Northside Computers. Oh, we'll just hear from all of them. We'll be back to Nekoosa Senior High after this.
Gross Motors of Neelsville is your Chevy, Buick, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealer. Gross Motors of Neelsville are proud sponsors of area youth athletics and local community events. See over 700 vehicles online at grossauto.com. Pick your favorite, then give Gross Motors of Neelsville the chance to earn your business today. Gross Motors of Neelsville is your Chevy, Buick, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealer. Neilsville Granton Warrior Football on Zaleski Sports WPKG is brought to you by
JBC Screen Printing and Embroidery, Neilsville. One-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs. Visit jbcscreenprinting.com. Marshfield Medical Center, Neilsville. It's not complicated, it's care. Nasonville Dairy, Highway 10 West, Marshfield. A family tradition of quality and cheese making that is proudly Wisconsin.
Now, back to WPKG's Larry Hazer.
The quarterback, Trunkle, giving it on the handoff to Zoski. Zoski up the middle. Zoski finding his way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Gross Motors of Neilsville is your Chevy, Buick, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealer. Gross Motors of Neilsville are proud sponsors of area youth athletics and local community events. See over 700 vehicles online at grossauto.com. Pick your favorite, then give Gross Motors of Neilsville the chance to earn your business today. Gross Motors of Neilsville is your Chevy, Buick, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealer.
Not be able to bring you these games here in central Wisconsin or throughout the state of Wisconsin. Again, we are doing games all over Wisconsin, and we cannot do that without the help of all the sponsors you see scrolling around the bottom right of your screen, as well as our commercial sponsors that we were just scrolling through. And all the likes of that as well here. Again, we get spoiled doing a job like this. Be able to cover broadcast games, go to high school sporting events for a job. Can't get much better than that. Living out a dream here in 2021. Third full season here of Zaleski Sports. And we are going to keep doing it better, keep doing it larger. And we're just going to keep doing it until we get told stop. And we haven't been able to – we have not been told stop yet. And we have not been told stop, and we have not been told no. And we there's a couple of things that again, there's a couple of times that we have tried to say no. That has not been a possibility here. No is not in the vocabulary, in the dictionary, I guess, of Zaleski Sports. So, again, that's a credit to everybody that works here, everybody that works for us, new, old. Everybody that continues to be on the team here at Zaleski Sports is it's been an absolute pleasure the last number of years. As this company grows, so does the number of employees, and we can't thank them enough. Late nights, long days, long weekends. Again, high school sports is absolute pleasure and joy to cover high school sports here in central Wisconsin. We had one unbelievable successful season last year, especially in Wisconsin Rapids. That one's bounced to the outside and sniffed out perfectly there for Nekoosa defensively. Again, I have the pleasure of living in Wisconsin Rapids and had the honor and pleasure of covering Wisconsin Rapids Assumption Athletics last year. Football team made huge strides from what they were 2 years ago. The volleyball team ended the season on a hot note, winning their last two of their last three games. obviously the girls soccer team doing what girls soccer team does. Baseball getting over that hump. Softball doing softball things. And then the winter season, I mean, just crazy good. The girls basketball team winning state. The boys basketball team, again, trying to get over that hump. They took a team of Port Edwards. That was a great pass across the middle and inside the 25-yard line. But, again, the Assumption boys basketball team, Port Edwards was a game or 2 games away from state, and Assumption almost beat them twice last year. And new tutelage at the head spot for Assumption on the boys' side. It's going to be an exciting. I'm giddy just thinking about how fun this high school sports season is going to be. It's going to be tremendous fun. And again, we can't do it without our great employees, our great friends here throughout Central Wisconsin, our sponsors, our advertisers, and all of you watching and continuously watching and supporting these student athletes throughout Central Wisconsin. So it's been a pleasure, it's been a joy, and it will just continue to be that way throughout the years here at Zaleski Sports. And I put an S at the end of that because, again, as long as we're allowed in these venues, we will continue to come back and bring you live, free high school sports throughout Central Wisconsin. And nowadays, it's not even just Central Wisconsin. I mean, we had the NLFL championship game last weekend in Fall River. Give a big shout out to Cale Jacoby and Trevor Zaleski staying put down in Fall River last week as tornado bared down on them down there last weekend. We have another championship game a week from tomorrow. Jason Zaleski calling some football down in the Milwaukee area. Again, and that just goes to the there's a fumble, ball on the ground, and Pittsville's able to come away with it. But again, that just goes to the to how good not just us play callers are. Pat on my own back, I guess. Don't want to brag about myself, and I try not to because obviously I'm definitely not the best around. But not just us play callers, but producers, camera people. That put these games on the air for you. That is all hats off to them, because without producers and camera people, we wouldn't be able to do these games as well as we do. Back to pass for Pittsville. Good pass there. Good catch, reaching back across his body inside the 15-yard line. And that's going to push him back to the 40-yard line. That was a 4th down, but yeah, nicely done there for Pittsville. There's been some bright spots for the Panthers. And my apologies, not sticking to football for the most part, or not this game anyway. But again, just been going to be another fun fall, winter, spring. And then we do it all over again a year from now. So, again, a picturesque, picture-perfect day here in Central Wisconsin. Breeze blowing, not 150 degrees. Mid to upper 70s. Again, can't ask for a much better day in Central Wisconsin than we had today. And that just goes to football's back. Weather is starting to cool down a little bit. And it's that time of the year. Again, we joke about it a lot here at Zaleski Sports, but you start the football season in shorts and a T-shirt. You'll end the football season in beginning of November, end of October, beginning of November, mid-November, in winter jackets, winter boots, winter hats. You'll go from the extreme to the extreme warm in shorts and a T-shirt you end in the extreme cold in winter clothes, and that's just the state of Wisconsin that we live in. So that's just how it goes. And then right after that, then we get to go back inside for basketball. Hockey, depending on what ice arena you're in, you can either be cold or warm, depending on how the heat is or the non-existent heat in some of the ice arenas. But again, we get treated very, very well in all of these venues, all these schools. We can't thank the athletic directors enough. There's a huge hit on the quarterback back at about the 47-yard line. Again, we'll be ending after the conclusion of this scrimmage here, Nekoosa and Pittsville. Wrap things up, and we have baseball for you tomorrow up in Haugen. The Marshfield Chaparrals back in action this weekend, tomorrow, in playoff action up in Haugen, Wisconsin. We have baseball for you tomorrow. We'll have football for you starting on Thursday next week. Spencer, Columbus, and are back to pass. We'll go through the whole schedule for you. And incomplete, had a receiver on the back end, but wasn't intended for him, so he wasn't ready for it. There we go. We'll go through our schedule here for you. 4 games next week on the Zaleski Sports Network. Glenwood City at Spencer Columbus on Thursday. We start things off in Spencer, as it's the Rockets and Glenwood City, 7 o'clock kickoff in Spencer. Pittsville will be at Augusta. Friday, Marshfield is at Fond du Lac at Fruth Field. Assumption, Wisconsin Rapids Assumption is at DeSoto, 6 o'clock start for that game. Stratford is at Mosinee. Colby is at Neelsville. Anago is at Amherst. Pacelli is at Waiawega Fremont. And then 2 more games baseball for you. On Friday, it will be the WBA State Tournament at Jack Hackman Field. Teams will be determined on Monday. So we got a whole lot of games for you, and then the week after that, boys soccer. We got volleyball. Everything will be in full force, as it usually is in the fall sports before school starts. And we'll be there to bring it to you right here on Zaleski Sports. Pittsville back at it, 45-yard line, and nowhere to go for the Panthers. Again, just a picture-perfect Friday afternoon here in central Wisconsin. Brand new football complex, brand new sports complex here on the campus of Nekoosa Senior High. I see Westfield getting ready to our right, to the south of us here at Nekoosa. Kind of a cool, obviously there's not much of a skyline or a backdrop here in Nekoosa, but to have with the mill above, soaring above the trees here, pretty cool picture here up in the press box at Nekoosa Senior High School. Back to pass to the end zone area, high throw, and through the hands and a bit high to the intended receiver. Speaking of football, Packers football tomorrow night from Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Get our first look in, 18 months or so of Jordan Love taking a majority of the snaps. Aaron Rodgers will not play in the preseason, as said by Matt LaFleur. Might get a snap here or there in the last one, but don't expect Aaron to play much, if at all. Jordan Love will have his time to shine now for the Green Bay Packers. Taking on Houston tomorrow. I think next Saturday, the Jets, Jets. And I think they finish off the preseason after that. There are only 3 preseason games, 17 regular season games. So the Packers will host Houston tomorrow. They will host the Jets on the 21st, and then they will be in Buffalo for a noon kickoff on August the 28th. And then right after that, they will be in New Orleans to start off the 2021 championship campaign. A lot of good things going on around Wisconsin sports. Again, we've been spoiled, continue to be spoiled. Milwaukee Bucks, of course, winning the NBA championship. The Milwaukee Brewers, second team in the major leagues to get 70 wins. They swept the Chicago Cubs for the first time ever, or in 4 games anyway, 4-game sweep. They now lead the all-time series against the Cubbies, 198 to 197. Again, for many moons, the Brewers and Cubs were in different leagues. Brewers were in the American League up until the 90s. The Cubs, of course, storied franchise. Rebuild mode for the second time in 15 years for the Chicago North Siders. On the south side, though, I mean, the White Sox are running away with the AL Central. About 11 games up on the teams in the AL Central. Chicago White Sox, very, very good. And a very a team to contend with for sure are the Chicago White Sox this year. Brewers, Giants, Dodgers, Padres trying to get into the mix. The NL East is going to be a heck of a finish as well. Phillies, Mets are falling apart. And the Braves. Brewers are in Pittsburgh tonight to start a 3-game series with the Pirates. Hand up right up the middle. Nowhere to go. And gained a couple of yards on the play. And great setting here in Nekoosa. Got bleachers on one side of the field. When I came up here a couple days ago to just take a look at it for the first time, reminded me a lot, and it's still even more so now. Reminded me a lot of Waupaca High School. Bleachers on one side, looks pretty identical. And obviously the soccer lines here at Nekoosa. And just a great setting here on the campus of Nekoosa Senior High. Great thing for the city of Nekoosa to have. Great for the school district to have. Rolling out to his left, and the blitz was on, and nowhere to go. And a sack and a loss of about 9 on the play. And Nekoosa goes all the way back to the 40-yard line. So I would assume only a handful of plays left here for Pittsville. Again, you start with what we have, 25 offensive plays from the 40-yard line. The drive starting from the 40-yard line, I should say. And then 5 plays from the 3-yard line to finish it off. So 30 plays total. Could be bounced out to the right side, back to the inside, gets tripped up near the 36-yard line. As a Papermaker limps off the field. And again, that not just beautiful facilities for players and between players and coaches and all that. But it sure is nice, and it helps us a lot tremendously. And it will be the same as it is over in Wisconsin Rapids. But just to be able to identify what line marker they're on, where they are on the field, and figure out everything as a broadcaster and a producer side of things to make sure everything is aligned perfectly, know where they're going to be, and that's going to be very, very nice. As you get more and more facilities and fields, turf fields throughout the state. So obviously Nekoosa got a brand new one. Wisconsin Rapids, Lincoln, and Assumption got a brand new one. And more and more, getting more and more beautiful turf fields. Maintenance, again, there is maintenance on these fields, to put it bluntly, and not to put anything against turf management. You can major in college in turf management. And miscommunication there. Ball's on the ground. Nekoosa scoops it up for the turnover. But again, between turf management, grass management, I guess, there is a lot of stuff that needs to be done to these fields that kind of go unnoticed at times. Obviously, the one beneficiary or the one benefit of it, you don't have to cut the grass. I mean, just you don't have to cut it. You don't have to reline the fields every week. The yardage markers are exactly where they need to be. You don't have to paint the field. You don't have to cut the grass. You don't have to. There's a lot you don't have to do, but still a lot that you do. But again, just beautiful, beautiful here in central Wisconsin. Pittsville, shotgun formation. There's a option play, and that one's going to be scooped up back at the 50-yard line for the Panthers. So Pittsville, again, as thought that they would coming in, still a lot to work on. A young team, and a team that will see its better days, brighter days in the near future for Coach Denniston and the Pittsville Panthers. Nekoosa, scored 6 or 7 touchdowns on their possessions. Two different teams, two different conferences, and two very different competitive conferences. Pittsville in the conference with Assumption, Pacelli, Iola, Wild Rose, and the likes of those teams. Pacelli and Iola thought to be the cream of the crop, to be at the top of those two, to be the top of that conference. With Assumption picked to finish third in front of the likes of Auburndale, Wild Rose, Loyal, Auburndale. I may have said Auburndale twice, but Assumption is picked to finish third. Iola first or Pacelli first, one of the two. Pacelli is going to be very, very tough to contend with in that conference this year. Rolling out to his right, near the end zone. He's back there, and it's going to be tipped away and incomplete. Not quite enough arm strength to get it over there. And another conversion upcoming here for Pittsville. But obviously Nekoosa in the conference of Amherst, Stratford, Spencer, Columbus, and Wittenberg, Burnwood, Shiocton, Manawa, and the likes of those schools as well. So 5 plays left here in Nekoosa. Again, we will sign off here after the conclusion of this one. we'll wrap things up and head home. 8 football games for you next week on Selesky Sports. When we do it big. We'll be doing it big all school season, all school year long. Again, as mentioned, over 80 football broadcasts scheduled before the postseason. And then through our three sports seasons, fall, winter, and spring, over 700 games broadcast for you upcoming this season. PAT good for Pittsville.
Nice kick by Pittsville.
Another field goal coming up, and that one's a line drive and blocked. I think that looks all right. Yeah, all right.
Offsides on Nekoosa.
So the kick was blocked, but an offsides on the Papermakers. So another try here for the Panthers. They may have been there to let's keep trying it. Why not? That's what you're here for, practice against somebody other than your own team. High snap, and that one's blocked right up the middle again for Nekoosa. So as mentioned, Pittsville will be back in action for Thursday. See what we got here for the Papermakers coming up next week here in week 1 of the high school football season.
So do you want me to go to commercial when we're all done? And then
Yeah.
go in?
So rolling out to his right and a tiptoe catch in the end zone for a touchdown. What a nice play that was for the Pittsville Panthers. So some bright spots here for Pittsville in the red zone, right area inside. They're inside the 5, but looking pretty good in the inside the 5-yard line, goal line opportunities. So Nekoosa will be at Black River Falls next Friday night. And then they will host Adams Friendship August 27th to open up this field. Obviously they're playing now, but to open it up for the regular season here this year. Rolling out to his right, spinning inside the 5, going to be swallowed up there. So Nekoosa will be at Black River Falls and will host Adams Friendship for the first 2 games before their conference season begins. I believe probably, 2 or 3 plays left, unless that is it, and that is it. We will call it here from Nekoosa. Papermakers, a great showing for Nekoosa against the Pittsville Panthers. Pittsville made some nice strides at the end, but that was not enough for Coach Denniston and the Pittsville Panthers here this afternoon. We're going to take a quick break here from our friends at Nacerville Dairy. Come back and wrap this one up. Again, there are still 2 games remaining. We are heading out. We are heading home. Again, Nekoosa Pittsville Scrimmage Day here at Nekoosa Senior High. You're watching Wisconsin High School football on Selesky Sports.
Gross Motors of Neilsville is your Chevy, Buick, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealer. Gross Motors of Neilsville are proud sponsors of area youth athletics and local community events. See over 700 vehicles online at grossauto.com. Pick your favorite, then give Gross Motors of Neilsville the chance to earn your business today. Gross Motors of Neilsville is your Chevy, Buick, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealer.